Hello there, I'm that Gamer guy, and this week we're discussing corporate pride. So with the glitter settled and with Pride season at its end, I thought I would give my opinion on an issue that has been spoken about quite frequently as of late, and that is the issue of corporate pride. So the term corporate pride refers to corporations, companies and conglomerates using pride as a marketing strategy. In the past I've spoken about Brighton pride, but today I want to talk about London pride. And for Americans that have no point of reference, think of Brighton as San Francisco and London as New York. So Peter Tatchell, one of the leading UK LGBT activists, recently wrote an article stating that London pride needs to be liberated. London pride is severely limited in rules, regulations and costs imposed on it by the city itself. LGBT organisations have to apply months in advance to appear in the parade. As well as this, the City Council have limited the parade route as they fear that more road closures will have more of an effect on central London businesses. Now you could argue that this is a direct effect of pride's loss in meaning. As I've stated before in my last Pride video, Pride, at least in the UK, is no longer a protest but instead a celebration. But here's the thing, protest marches don't have to pay admin costs. They're allowed to march because of the degree of freedom of speech that we have in this country. Pride, on the other hand, has almost become a business in itself. It draws people from across the country into one city and creates revenue. So it's somewhat understandable that there are dealings on both sides to organise Pride as a commercial event. But how is Pride itself funded? Well, obviously the host city partially funds the event, as well as various LGBT charities and trusts, but Pride also receives funding from capitalism. All those supermarket and bank floats that you see in Pride parades will have paid their way in return for company visibility. After all, nowadays the LGBT community has become a marketing target demographic. Pride parades in part have almost become a cattle market, parading through the streets and demonstrating their wares. And I can't speak for London Pride, but Brighton Pride certainly has a number of smaller local companies that specifically target the LGBT community, with anything and everything from builders in the buff to singing barbers. So with all that said, let's look at some high profile cases. You may be aware of the far-right outcry that Skittles caused when it launched its Pride campaign and released limited edition Skittles without any colour. This apparently was because during Pride only one rainbow matters, so we've given up ours to show our support. Now if you're not a cynic like me, you could be forgiven for thinking that Skittles were just doing this for the cause. But really, let's look at it for what it is. A very good marketing strategy. I dread to think how many people bought that product just for the purpose of sharing it on Instagram. And what can I say against that? The strategy works and it's somewhat bringing awareness to the cause. Okay, so here's my problem with it. Skittles have been around since 1974. If they really wanted to show their solidarity, where was their support 40 years ago? There wasn't any, because had they released this product 40 years ago, they would have faced a significant backlash for promoting LGBT rights. After all, homosexuality was only decriminalised in 1967, so not only would they have faced criticism, they would have most likely lost a market majority. Nowadays, with LGBT widespread acceptance in the UK, they don't risk any of those repercussions, and you can see this with companies across the country that just stick a rainbow flag on their product and market it as LGBT friendly. But whilst all of this doesn't sit particularly easy with me, it is hard to ignore the benefits of corporate support. There is of course the eternal argument that any visibility is good visibility. Corporations, companies and conglomerates have the potential to reach millions, confronting bigots in the process, which can never be a bad thing. But yes, of course, there is a significant problem with corporate pride. Pride events are becoming businesses in themselves, and as Peter Tatchell said, we need to liberate them. But let's not downplay the benefits of having corporations on our side. Yes, they're promoting our community for the absolute wrong reasons, but they're still promoting our community, and it's up to us whether or not we buy into it. So thank you for listening, those were my thoughts on the matter. Please feel free to leave your thoughts down in the comments. And with that, I'll say goodbye. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more. I also write a gaming blog, which I'll leave a link to down below. And if there's anything gaming, geek or LGBT related that you'd like me to discuss in a future video, then please leave your suggestions down in the comments. I'd also like to quickly thank Skittles who sponsored this video. Just kidding, hope to see you guys next time, but until then...
Give the rainbow, taste the rainbow.